Halakha tells us that sukkah sericha le'asot mishalot yetanot uschach. Sukkah, to be considered a kosher sukkah, must have 3 walls and it has to have schach. Without both of those components, the sukkah is pasul. And he brings down schach, we know, has to be davar shegadel bekarka, something which grows from the ground, mekabel tumah. That we know. But the actual sukkah walls could be anything. You could use anything for the sukkah walls. However, he brings down that even though you're allowed to use anything for a sukkah wall, it has to be a wall which doesn't move. If the wall blows in the wind back and forth, even though it might not be disconnected, it might be tied from the bottom and tied from the top, in such a case, he says it is pasul. And therefore, a person has to be very careful while using these sukkot that are made from cloth, to be extremely careful to make sure, number one, that they're tied down very well, and secondly, the new sukkot, they already sell with them strings. The strings go around, and the reason why they sell strings is because according to halakha, a wall doesn't have to be a solid wall. For a wall to be considered a wall, you need to have, as long as the space between one and the next is less than 3 tefahim, that's considered kilahu damim. So therefore, if you look and see, you'll see from the bottom part of the sukkah, which is the first little pole, to the first string, is less than 3 tefahim, which is approximately about 8 inches. It's less than that. And then you have from the first string to the second string, also less than 8 inches. From the second to the third, it's also less. From the third to the middle bar, or 4th string, also it's less than 8 inches. And then from the bottom to the 4th line is approximately about 3 feet, give or take. In that case, already that's considered a wall. So now, forget about your walls that you have, which is the actual cloth. You already have a strong wall, which those strings, if you tie them tight, will not flap around. Because once they're tight, they're tight. Of course, if you push them, they'll be moved. But with the wind, they won't move around. And therefore, now you have a kosher sukkah, even without your walls, even without any cloth. So in such a case, that sukkah has become kosher. However, just putting on a lot of the canvases, the way the old ones used to be, a lot of times they're very loose. And many times you see the people don't even tie the bottom, they don't tie the top, they just leave it, hanging, whatever it is, and you see the guy's sukkah flying around. Those sukkot are pasul legamre. He says not only is it pasul, he says it's beracha lebatala. He says when you go in and you say l'shem sukkah in such a sukkah, it's beracha lebatala. You ate hamotzi over there, you ate husla sukkah, and therefore a person has to be very careful to try to stay away from those sukkot unless they're done 100% according to halakha. Try to stay away from them. It's always best to go the right way to do it. To go with a strong wall, get a wood wall or a panel wall, whatever it is, where it's strong, you know for sure it's not moving around, it's not flapping around in the wind, and then a person is definitely yotzeh the mitzvah of sukkah. Amen.